From the studios of Foxboro Cable Access, located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Hi, I'm Steve Uden, and this is Around Foxborough. We have a very Foxborough guest with us today, Marc Craig. He's the director of our Human Services and Senior Center. And he's been here before, but we like having him back because we love our seniors and the humans here in town.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. How have you liked the run so far? I guess we've said you've been here, gee whiz, 5 years?
Almost 5 years. August will be 5 years.
Wow.
It's been great. It really has been great. Foxborough is an incredible community. I love coming here every single day. I love the people here. It really, honestly, truly, it's a joy to work here,
What's in the water?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I say that all the time around town, like, this is a great place. And we're all humans, and but the kindness and the generosity and the sort of volunteerism and stuff in this town is very palatable to a lot of people.
Yeah, I've worked for 4 other communities, and Foxborough is unique, and it really is, again, a joy to come here every single day.
Yeah. So you've been here 5 years. Has a lot changed for you, or have you made a lot of changes, or?
So there's the before times, pre-COVID, there's COVID, and then there's the after times.
Sure, right.
And we're kind of divisible by
and that's
a year
intense,
and a half.
COVID, but particularly with our seniors,
Yes,
right? I mean, that's very intense.
So I'd say pre-COVID, we were kind of getting our footing and changing some few things and lightening up the senior center. And then obviously COVID happened, and I think by now we're kind of back to where we were in late 2019. So we're there now with our daily attendance, but for a year and a half we were focused on keeping people safe, health conscious areas, doing vaccination, and sort of then more recently getting back to our regularly scheduled programs.
And I think, if I'm not correct, you got a new transportation van, a new Van Go, right?
Yes,
what did you get, an Explorer or
we
an
actually
Expedition?
got 2 new vehicles in the last year and a half.
Really?
Yeah. I'm pretty passionate about if there's a way to get services and opportunities from outside money, like let's go for it.
Sure.
So a year and a half ago, we were able to get a new accessible vehicle through the CARES Act, through the federal government.
Okay.
So we had a 14-passenger van that was aging, didn't look so great.
I remember the van.
Yeah. And
carried a lot of love in it, though.
Did.
A lot of people, yeah.
Yeah. And luckily we were able to get a new handicap accessible vehicle, again, about a year and a half ago, using those federal funds. And we kind of rebranded. It's always been called the Van Go, but I figured rather than just Van Go, let's actually brand it. So we put the Vincent Van Gogh Starry Night on the side. Yeah. And we were able to transport people in wheelchairs and with limited mobility, which has been great. And before we knew we were going to get that van, we actually applied for a grant from Brigham and Women's to completely alter our transportation system. We got about $225,000 over 3 years.
Can I go down a rabbit hole with you for a minute?
Of course.
Okay. Tell everybody that hasn't seen you or doesn't know about our human services, are we just a free ride and you can call and get anything, or is it specific, like only medical or only, but we're not an ambulance, or that sort of thing? What are the conditions of having a ride? Because it's a beautiful gift.
Right. So Foxborough is also unique in the fact that we have human services all over the age of 18 in one building. So we have opportunities for anyone, any Foxborough resident who needs a ride. Predominantly, if we say within an 11-mile radius, but there are some exceptions where people can get rides outside of that area.
But is it to go to the movies, or
if they want? If that's how they provide the access, we're in the helping. So if that helps someone get what they need to get, if they're looking to go to the movies, that's perfectly fine. The one thing we try not to provide is transportation to employment. Because every once in a while we do have to cancel because a driver is sick or because we have too many rides booked. We don't want someone to lose their job because we can't get them to
And are our
the job.
drivers Foxborough residents?
They all are, yes.
Cool.
Yeah, they're great people that we have 2 vehicles going around town 40 hours a week.
Wow.
And they are, as of right now, very busy.
They're
bet. Very, very busy. And we try and have opportunities where multiple people are on the vehicle at a time, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. If someone's going all the way up to Norwood, they might be the only person going that way in the morning. We do kind of move people around every once in a while to try and get the highest capacity. But 6 months ago, we got our Chevy Traverse. And that was a second vehicle, and we kind of did the same thing with the Van Go. symbol, so that replaced our old Taurus, and we were able to do more people at once.
See the USA in a Chevrolet, I think Pat Boone sang. I can't remember who it was, but see the USA in a Chevrolet. Can you tell us a little bit about you before we go back to nuts and bolts?
Sure.
Like, are you independently wealthy and have your own island in Italy or something like that on Crete?
I wish.
Or do you just scale it back a little bit?
If that was the case, I would still fly my helicopter to work
me
every
too.
day.
I'd
That's how
land
much
it
I like
everywhere.
it.
Yeah, I'd land mine everywhere too.
No, I've worked for different towns for the last almost 20 years in various services between Parks and Rec and Human Services and Council on Aging, bouncing around from town to town, and that's sort of what I like to do. And, but I actually come all the way here.
And it's a calling.
It is.
You have to be cut from the cloth to do this.
Yeah.
Because there's such a natural element of, again, kindness and sincerity and, gravitas to things.
It's part of it also for me is the municipal service. So I've done a few programs recently with Suffolk that was peers in local government and trying to figure out what the commonality is. And it's when you get in a room with people who, some might be DPW workers, some might be police and fire. It's the call to service of improving local communities. It's the easiest way to improve a town, improve someone's life is local services. So,
and it's comforting as a resident to know it's there too.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, and Foxborough Services, I mean, we have almost second to none at this point. We have a lot of different opportunities, but I come here from Falmouth every day, and it's an hour drive, but I don't mind it because I get to come to a town that I love, so it's great.
I drive by all the time. I know the building well. I've been in it many times. In fact, I'm in an organization, the Rotary here in Foxborough, and a few years back we built the upright garden boxes, right? And we love doing that. What else is going on? Has the center changed, though? Do you have a trampoline gym, or like what do you have going on in the building? Anything different?
So we have a variety of different programs.
Probably not a trampoline.
We don't have a trampoline yet.
Too much liability.
But one thing I try and focus on is there's programs for everyone. So there are some more sedentary type programs where if you want to just come and knit and talk to a friend, that's completely okay. We also have some high aerobics culture dancing that is based off of Haitian culture.
Really?
I mean, we try and run the gamut, but we have Zumba classes, we have a lot of exercise classes.
I've seen movies there too, right?
Yes.
Like every now and then you show a pretty cool movie.
Yeah, we usually show movies on Thursdays, and we just started a classical movie Mondays because a few people said that they weren't so interested in newer movies. They'd love to watch the movies from the 40s and 50s.
Oh, so you take in suggestions?
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's great, because you never know what gems you're going to pull out of that vault.
Exactly.
Right? That's really cool.
Yeah. So I try and plan either like-minded programs together so we can have people that come to one exercise class and then free flow to the next, or I pair things that definitely don't go together so we can have some people leave and new people come. The challenge is parking. If we have a bigger event, I end up doing not valet parking, but I'm moving cars around too if we need to.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown. You're a good man. You have a good heart. Does your office, and this is a completely dumb question, I have no idea what the answer is. With our great veterans leader, Mrs. Rodriguez, do you ever overlap activities and or have conjoined activities already in place?
Yes. Short answer is yes. The longer answer is about a year ago, the town manager reorganized the Human Services Department. And so that put Veteran Services and Recreation Services under me, under one umbrella.
No kidding.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
It's more of a conjoined effort. Allie and I are great friends.
She's
We've always
terrific.
worked together.
Yeah, she's smart as a whip and really good.
She is.
And very likable in real life too.
Yeah. So we started to do a lot more together. So I helped her out planning kind of the bigger events where she could sort of focus on the minutia, where I'm sort of focusing on the bigger picture things. So planning Memorial Day.
I had no idea the structure changed.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's been about a year. And it's been very successful. And one thing that we have coordinated is a lot of shared clients. So Allie might have.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah. Somebody might be like, I don't want to walk over there if I have to walk over there.
Right.
Or, whatever. And
one thing I hate, and this is nothing against town hall, but we always in government we call it the town hall shuffle.
Okay.
You have to go from one door, and you have to go down the hall to talk to this person.
Right.
That's sort of a local government term, but I hate that. So we do a thing called no wrong door. So if someone comes to the senior center and starts asking questions about veteran services, we're not going to say, oh, you got to go talk to Allie. No, we'll answer some basic questions.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah. And it's
no wrong door.
No wrong door. So
I hope we can put that up under the screen. There's no wrong door. That's a great idea.
Yeah. And it works in the inverse too. So if someone goes over to the rec department and says, oh, I'm signing my kids up for summer camp and I don't know what, my mother-in-law's been in the house for weeks. Oh, well, here's all the programs for the senior center. You should really consider signing them up. And
wow.
We really work together really well.
Yeah, you have changed this center quite a bit.
Yes, yeah.
And they do, everything grows and changes and that sort of thing. I see here on the website, I don't want people to get the idea from this interview that this is only an organization of fun and field trips. It's not. I don't know if you saw this, but I grabbed it off your website. There's some like pretty important services that you folks provide, or at least give access to or have information on. No wrong door.
Right.
Can you talk up to a little bit about those?
Yeah.
You don't have to go to every one, but
sure.
I just think it's really important they see this list.
So go back to Foxborough is unique. So Foxborough we have two tremendous social workers.
Yeah.
Pam McGuire and Kate Finieri, who are at the senior center every day. And again, Foxborough is unique. We have
work like crazy.
They
too.
work like
They're
crazy.
Very dedicated people,
and
sincerely.
They see people, anyone over the age of 18, because it's in a senior center. They see a lot of seniors, but they do have people that walk in the door looking for access to. They're helping them with resources, connecting. Their job is to connect the client with the resource they need, whether it's SNAP benefits, EBT benefits, housing assistance, Medicare.
The COVID vaccine, I'm worried I need to get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're seeing over the last 2 years, they've seen a lot of younger people who never thought they would need help with housing, with unemployment.
God bless them. Thank goodness we have that.
Right. So it's worked out really, really well. But we also have connections with Shine counselors. So Shine is serving health insurance needs of everyone.
It's an acronym, SHINE.
So if someone's preparing for retirement and says, I've worked for 40 years, what's next? Oh, and they start worrying about their Medicare, their Medicaid, their health insurance. What am I going to do? How am I ever going to retire? We can connect them with a Shine counselor who will walk them through and look at their individual finances and say, well, here's what plan works best for you. Because that is the hardest part of retirement, is saying health might be deteriorating.
Wow.
What is the best plan? Because you want to be able to retire, but also want to make sure you retire for a long time, right? So we have Shine counselors that will work with people to try and figure out the best resources.
That's terrific. Did I hit the whole list right?
You did. The only other thing that we have that is a great resource, we have this thing called the Community Resource Guide. So during COVID, when some of the staff had to work from home, we said, well, let's work on some major project that is going to be, we never normally would take this undertaking. So we have a book that's about 45 pages of every resource that's available to Foxborough residents.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's telephone book style, but there's also a couple of sentences of here's what the service provides, here's who you should talk to.
Is it digitally available as well in a PDF?
It is on the town's website. It's on our Council on Aging Human Services page.
Wow. Yeah. That's a really great tool. In fact, not just for the person on the actual sharp end of that book, but say if you have a senior parent or you have a younger adult that needs, guardianship, they can go to that book and go, oh, this is where I can get that for Sally or Willie or Ted, right?
Right, exactly.
Or Nana or Papa or Susie, my sister, right? So that's terrific. I mean, this is it's a rich, wide, and deep part of the building that's way more than Singing in the Rain videos.
Yes, exactly.
Right, and people need to know that they can come and that they can get it come into the building or get info on the website, right? So we'll put the website up.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
The URL, right? Are there any other access? Like, do you have Instagram or do you have Facebook or?
We're predominantly Facebook at this point, and it's the Foxborough Council on Aging Human Services page. We have Tracy who works in our office who regularly updates that we always either do past pictures.
It is nurtured?
It is, yes.
Oh, great.
At least once a day there's some sort of post.
Right.
It's mostly, what's coming up and what has been the last couple of days. Here's some pictures from some fun event we did.
Sure, right.
Yeah. So the other day we did a pizza palooza where we tried 6
saw
pizzas.
that.
Yeah, it was really good.
I slowed down and drove by. I looked. I'm like, oh, was any in there left for me? I don't know.
Yeah, so we had 6 pizza places in Foxborough, and seniors just tried pizza from each one, and they had to try and guess which one they liked most, and it was a good time. And I like to do that kind of stuff because it supports the local businesses and gets seniors to try something they might not normally try.
And our local businesses too, which kind of threads into what you're doing professionally, is our local businesses help our community in so many ways throughout the year.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That was inappropriate. That was unexpected. Sorry about that. They really do help our community, and so it's nice to see them engaged and or used as you buy the pizzas from them.
Right. Yeah, if I'm doing something, I try and make it all Foxborough based. If there's an opportunity to keep the money from the. So the way that these programs work is the seniors will pay money for the program, and then we'll try and figure out the resources for that program. And I try and keep the money as much as I can in Foxborough, and it seems to always return back to us in mysterious ways. The other day I had one of the new owners of Shoveltown come in and say, we really want to have 50 seniors come and cook their own pizza, and we'll do it all for free.
At the restaurant?
At the restaurant.
No kidding.
Yeah, a lot of them that know the building as the old fire station. They might not be brewery type people. They're going to be able to go and try some pizza and get to actually go inside. And maybe that means that's their new favorite pizza. So they'll go there from now on. So,
that's great.
Yeah,
that's a great idea. Wow. How are you funded? Is it only Foxborough taxpayers, or is it the Fed and the state and a little bit of everything?
So the salaries are all
Excuse me.
Is Foxborough tax dollars. So we have 8 full-time people who work for the department, and then I have about $30,000 in office expenses. But the programs are all self-funded through our program fees.
So do you need donors?
This is going to sound weird.
Corporate or personal or a little bit of everything?
We would never turn down anything, but we really don't at this stage. So we have things, some of the programs cost $1 or $2, but we also have big things, like we have a trip to Italy coming up, and that generates a lot of funds for us to run a lot of our free programs. So it's a little bit of Robin Hood for me, where...
Oh, so you pay to go to Italy, but it funds the other programs.
Yeah. So if I want to book someone, coming up before our Italy trip, we have a presenter, Paolo De Gregorio, who's going to come and do a presentation on Rome. So he costs money to bring him. So the money that actually comes from the Italy trip pays for Paolo to come and do his talk.
Oh, it's self-funding completely.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Wow, how many people do you think will be going to Italy? What's the
we have
capacity?
42 going to Italy.
Wow.
Yes.
For how long?
They're going there for 9 days.
On a boat?
Or
an airplane?
They're flying, and then they go from Rome down the Amalfi Coast.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's back to the programs that we have, some that are more sedentary, and there's some that are fairly intense. So they're going to be in April going to Pompeii, and if you've ever been to Pompeii, it's hard. I mean, it's not. This isn't something. This isn't easy.
It's like a volcano went off there or something. It's crazy.
It's 2,000-year-old city with lots of rock, and we have seniors who that is no problem for them, and this is just a great opportunity for them.
So you take off out of Foxborough International Airport and you fly to where?
They're going to Rome. So there's a stopover, I think, in Germany, but they're then headed to Rome, and then from there, just traveling down the coast.
And then Foxborough has its own cruise ship that it supports Europe travel for Foxborough residents. That's really cool. Yeah. Wow, that's great. You have a family?
I do. Yeah, I have my wife works for another municipality, and then my daughter is 7 years old.
7.
Yes.
That's a great age.
It is a magical time.
It is. There's Disney wonder in their eyes and imagination exploding. And oh, that's great. One daughter?
One daughter, and she is a tremendous reader, and she's... last night she was up till 9 o'clock, which is way past her bedtime, and she came out to apologize, and she said, well, I've just been reading this whole time, and little does she know that's every parent's dream, right? That you're reading? You're reading? Okay, that's...
You get your allowance early.
You better to go to bed, but yeah.
That's terrific. Yeah. Your wife work in state?
She works for Sandwich Public Schools.
Sandwich,
yeah,
okay, great.
Yeah.
And do you folks live in Massachusetts or Foxborough? Or?
We both live in Falmouth.
Falmouth, beautiful. Yeah. My friends live in T-Ticket down that way.
Yeah.
Falmouth is beautiful. Well, that's not the coast of Foxborough. The coast of Foxborough is somewhere else, right? But
So it's an people say, "Wow, you drive all the way." It's an hour. But I couldn't do traffic. Driving into Boston every day. There's a lot of people who do that.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't do that.
No,
I cruise control at miles per hour, and I'm here in about an hour.
Boy. Yeah, don't admit anything on television. You'll be all right. That's about what I have for time. Is there anything you want to make sure you hammer to get a point on this broadcast?
Sure.
Something big that's coming up, or Founders Day? You know, I work with Founders Day. What do you? Anything you want to announce? Or
So the only things that we're working on now is we do an annual celebration of the Foxborough Senior Olympics. So,
oh, right.
Yeah. So last year we had 125 seniors doing 8 days worth of activities, and we were lucky enough to be up at Gillette for one of those days. We're crossing our fingers we can do that again this year. And then we're hoping that the Olympics will be before Founders Day, so we could have a unit in the parade with all of our senior Olympians with the gold medals.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, off camera, we'll talk about if you need to communicate with the Founders Day Committee.
Okay.
I have some friends that are on it, and I'm on it, and we'll be make sure we're shaking hands and talking about that. Yeah. This has been really nice, and I think, you know, having you back from time to time to reiterate regularly how important this part of our government is, and the beautiful things we can do, and also the very practical and safe things for our people. I really think you're an important part of the town.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And your whole staff, you know, and I can tell by your vibe, you're the guy for it. You know?
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
The smile lingers, and that matters. You know, people, it's not cooked. We're going to say goodbye.
Okay.
Do you want to say hi to your 7-year-old daughter and look in the camera? There's a red light
Hey,
there.
Callie.
Why don't you give your daughter and
She'll
blow
watch
her
it
a
on
kiss.
YouTube, I promise.
Yeah,
I'll
she'll
make her
rolling
watch
her
it.
eyes. Oh, Dad. Right? Your father's a great guy. Your father's a wonderful man. Okay. Thanks a million.
Thanks, Brett. Appreciate
Hope to see you again.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Uden. This is Around Foxborough. I'd like to thank our producer, Jury Love, Mike Weber, the director here at Foxboro Cable, and Paul in the booth, keeping things humming along professionally. I wish you a good day. God bless Foxborough, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.